Hello everyone, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on the Moza R5 Bundle today. Now I did purchase this myself and do have affiliate links, but I was not influenced to say anything at all. Now this video is going to be split into 5 different parts. That's going to be customer support, the assembly, overall overview, software, and some of the things I was not pleased with during the process. Now to start, I am going to be talking about their customer support and shipping, which you'll also hear me talk about a little bit later. I did place my order on November 29th when the website said it would take 7 to 14 days to ship, and then wait about 7 days for it to actually ship to you. It sat under processing for 2 weeks. When I then received a partial shipment of the brake performance kit, which did get my hopes up that I was going to be receiving my wheel quickly. About a week and a half later, I did get the shipping info for my wheelbase and wheel and everything, and then did receive it 3 days later, which kind of got to December 29th-ish area. Overall, it did take a month to get to me. Now, during this process, I had sent a support message asking for an update and never got a response from Moza up until the time when I closed the ticket, because I had already received my wheel and that was my question. Now part 2 is going to be about the assembly, and this part isn't going to be very too long as it was very plug and play and wasn't very difficult to set up. The only thing that you have to really screw together is the desk mount, which in the instructions could be a little bit easier to see. It's facing the wrong way in the instructions, so screwing the screw on was a little confusing at first, but then it's very, very dumb proof, and it didn't take too long to set up. Now, when it comes to the wheel and putting the wheel on, the quick release is amazing. I haven't had any issues with it as well. On the wheel, in here, right in this area, you'll see there's a little notch that tells you exactly where to put it on so that you can't have any issues when you're trying to put it on at all. And my experience has been very good, and I haven't had any issues. Now part 3, this is going to be the longest part, and it's going to give a main overview of everything, mainly the things I like and things that I think they did well, of which there is honestly not much that I can harp on that I don't like, but switching from the G29, saying the force feedback is better should be a given, but the difference between the two are night and day. I recently watched a video of another creator where they said you wouldn't improve just getting a wheel, but since the new wheel, I did go from averaging 900 I rating to now 12 to 1300 and finishing in the upper, splits. Now, that could be because I am racing more, but I feel like I can understand what the car is actually doing. And getting the force feedback setting set up right with no clipping, while also getting the most out of the 5.5 Newton meters is the biggest challenge. Now, before anything else, it should be known that you need to get the brake performance kit, because without it, there's no resistance, and it's exactly like the accelerator. So comparing the srp-lite pedals to the G29 pedals, standalone with no wheel stand, they do like to do what I call the Michael Jackson. So I do highly recommend getting a wheel stand if possible. I ended up getting the wheel stand 2.0 from Next Level Racing. Now, if you aren't able to get a wheel stand and that's not viable price-wise or anything of that sort, another option is attaching a piece of wood just to make it so it doesn't pop up. Now, going over to the wheel, I really do commend their quick release. After watching videos for Fanatec and Logitech, it seems like Moza came on top with a better design. In the box ships the ES steering wheel, which quality-wise, the leather feels great and the stitching is pretty good. I haven't had any issues yet with any fraying of any sorts. Now, the buttons are spaced pretty well, and even the ones closest to the middle, I can easily press when racing without any problems. I do wear gloves while racing, and I haven't had any problems with misclicking, anything of that sort. Now, comparing those as well to the G29, They do seem less clicky and a little bit more padded, which it feels more quality. The shifters are very loud and clicky. I was told there are rubber pads that you can find on Amazon to make them quieter and make the sound a little bit more dampened. So if you live in a house with thin walls, you can race at night without the person in the other room having to hear every shift. Now, I did already mention it a little bit, but the build quality is actually something that I thought I was going to have an issue with, seeing as the bundle was only $450, and no matter how hard you try, things will slip through the cracks. But the connections between each of the sections of the wheelbase are good, with only a little bit of change from what I would call the I/O in the main housing to the drive shaft. I haven't had any sort of issues. Now, this next one is going to be pretty short, just like part 2, as there's not much to cover, at least things that I understand as a noob in the sim racing community. The pit house software coming from Logitech is information overload. There's so many small, minute adjustments that you can make to change the smallest things, from the amount of force you feel going over sand versus grass. I personally chose the basic GT iRacing settings and sent it until someone did recommend in my chat to change some of the force feedback settings. So I did change those curve settings. As a whole, the software UI wise is also very good. And if I'm not sure of what something does, if you hover over the setting, the software does have a little question mark that'll tell you exactly what that sort of setting does and how it affects, whatever you change will affect the force feedback or whatever setting, you are changing, which is something that I do like a lot. Now we come to the things that I really don't like, which there are only 3 of them. The first is needing the brake performance kit or needing to buy the brake performance kit. I honestly feel like if you're buying the bundle, it should be sent with the bundle and not have to be purchased separately. If you buy the pedals separately, that makes sense to me that you would have to buy that separately. But if you're buying the bundle, it should come with the brake performance kit. It being shipped without it is just unfortunate, because there is no load cell at all. It's the same spring as the accelerator, and there was no difference in actuation or anything of that sort. Now, another issue that I've had so far was with the force feedback settings. There was a problem, which you can see in this clip, where I put the wheel into the center and it just starts shaking super violently. This may be something that on my issue, I did have to actually, in order for me to fix it, I did have to go and reinstall the pit house software and then completely redo all of my iRacing settings, and that seemed to fix it. So now I just have only pit house settings and I don't have any force feedback settings in iRacing. And the very last thing was the shipping times. I do get that when I did buy it, it was around Thanksgiving and Christmas, but the amount of time it took to get to me seems a bit much. And I know I'm not the only one with this issue, because if you were to join the Discord during this time, there was a ton of people commenting, when am I getting the wheel? When is shipping happening? All of that sort of information, because there were nobody getting responses on support tickets. People were posting on Reddit. It was on their Twitter page underneath tweets that they were posting, which it does seem like shipping is an issue in the sim racing community under these companies like Fanatec. They seem to just not ship out their products in a timely manner. And I definitely know I'm not the only one who has experienced this, as I know other people have been having this issue. I did notice recently that they did update the website saying that it's going to take 7 days to ship, plus the extra shipping time once it does ship, which is a little, I feel, wrong, because I also know people who have purchased it within the past month and it still hasn't shipped. They've also only received partial shipments for a shifter or the brake performance kit, so I really don't know how long it's going to take for them to fill up the backlog, but it's honestly something that I can't complain too much about, because I did in the end get it. And when I did get it, I am very pleased with it. Now, overall, I really enjoy the wheel, and if the only things I can point out are shipping times and possible user error, Moza is doing pretty well, and I look forward to seeing the new wheels that they do put out, as well as other things in the sim space. I am really enjoying my time in the sim space when it comes to streaming, posting videos. The YouTube shorts have been doing really well. People have been coming to the looking at TikToks and then coming to the stream. People have been even coming to the stream, helping me set up my force feedback settings so there's no clipping. It's actually been really enjoyable, and I look forward to meeting more people in this space. Now, I know this may not have been the most straightforward and well thought out video. I did try outlining everything, but I do hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day. Thank you.